As I mentioned last week, today I will be covering the last book and the last and the fourth book of Florence Scovel-Shinn. And now this last book was not published by Florence. This last book was published by a student of Scovel who wanted to pass on the message by compiling a note and her memoranda. So this book is a compilation of the notes and memoranda of Florence. And now this book was published after Florence died. So this was like a tribute to Florence. And also it was a way of passing the message on of the truth that Florence taught. So this was a way of the student making sure that people are aware that Florence was not just talking about these things, but she was living it because these are her notes and her memoranda. Welcome to the Elite book review series. And in this series, I cover the books which have contributed to who I am today. Now, what I do in this series is that every week I cover one book and the main takeaways that I have from that one book. And for today, as I've already mentioned, it's all about the power of the spoken word by Florence Scovel-Shinn, compiled by Emmett Fox, who was a student. So, I am Samuel Kim, your host, and I'm the founder and CEO of NK Elite. NK Elite is an agency which is focused on marketing and fundraising. So we are focused on copywriting, marketing, and grant writing. So back to the power of the spoken word by Florence Scovel-Shinn, compiled by Emmett Fox. There are five main takeaways that I would like to share from this book by Florence, which was, as I have already mentioned, was compiled by Emmett. And now the first takeaway is that talked about weapons that you know that you don't know about. And now this one is about when you make your ask. Now for those who are in religion, when you pray. So when you pray, you should not spend your time worrying about how what you have prayed about will be coming to you. You you are not in religion now. This is about asking. So the moment you ask the universe or you ask the source for something, do not waste your time and keep looking here and there like how will this be coming to me? So you should ask or you should pray for it and then you should just relax and now not waste your time worrying about how it will come to you, but having the expectation that it is already here with you and how it will come to you will just be a wonder. So this one is about instead of worrying about how what you have asked will come to you, more about having the expectation that what you have asked for will be coming to you, and for you, you're just wondering like how will it be coming. So this one is about when you pray or when you ask, instead of worrying about something, you just have the expectation that it is coming to you, and now in that expectation, now you are looking with wonder at how it will be coming to you. And now that is the first takeaway from Florence's book. Second takeaway is about intuition. Now the thing about intuition is that so first of all, what is intuition? Intuition is comes in different forms. Now intuition can come as a still small voice, can come as energy shifting, or it can come from the universe. So this is maybe you are having a conversation with someone, maybe you are reading a book, maybe you are listening to a podcast. Now, the moment you hear it, it feels so right. Now, when you follow it, end up doing the right thing that you should have done in that particular situation. So that is what intuition is. Now, Lauren talks about intuition because now, from her work and even from our world today, right now for me, I'm in business. So when you look at the business world, what you notice is that people dismiss intuition and now they focus on reason. So and now for them, reason is about using the data to kind of predict what will happen to make the decision. But now the thing about Florence is that she recommends intuition. So yes, you can have the data, but not be making your decisions based on that data, but should have that data. So the data should be your input, but it should not be your output. So it should be your input, and then after you have had the input, you leave it up to the universe now. Now, when you leave it up to the universe now, the universe will answer you through intuition. So that is what intuition is about. So it's the way of the universe speaking to you. One religion is the way of that the brain being speak to you. For you, the source, the way that the source speak to you. So the source speak to you through intuition. And now, when you follow your intuition, what you notice is that you are in the world of the wonders. So find yourself in such a way that things are happening perfectly. Like look at your conditions, they are perfect. So like it is all you could ask for. And now for you, the moment you see that, you notice that not because of something you have done, but it's because something you have done in collaboration with the universe. So when you look at it now from that direction, is look at it as you are the co-creator of everything that is happening in your life. So that is intuition now. Now the that takeaway is about power. Now the way Florence described power now is that there are two kinds of power. So the first one is personal power, and the second one is the universe power. Personal power. This one is about using your personal will to make things happen. So this is whereby you are making plans, you are forcing things like you are doing everything to make things happen. And now what I have noticed about using personal will is that at the beginning of the day it is it is full, but as you go on with your day it keeps reducing and reducing. So the more you use it, the more it reduces. And now by the time you are getting to the end of the day, it is as if it's no longer there, or it is so low that you cannot make things happen anymore. And so that is the issue with intuition, that you only have enough of it, and now the more you use it, the more you drain it. And now at the end of the day, you can find that you don't have it. And now at the end of the day, this is where you find that if if during the day you followed your diet, at the end of the day you find that you are snacking. And now this is because you are using your personal will. On the other hand, using the universe power, this is where now you are in flow with the universe. So as I already mentioned in the second takeaway is that the universe speaks to you through intuition. So this is whereby you are not forcing everything. So you are leaving it up to the universe, and now the universe is giving you lead into how you will go about it. And now these leads are now what come to you as intuition. So when you use the power of the universe, you end up in the flow state. So the flow state is whereby things are just happening even without you having to interfere with them. It's as if they're happening by themselves. So that is the key of using the universe power. It's about not using your personal will, but relying on the universe to get things done. And now when you use the personal will, what you realize is that you get trained quickly. And now the other thing is that find yourself in this reactive state that at the end of the day, find that maybe sometimes you made good decisions, but other times you realize that you are creating a mess. But when you rely on the power of the universe, what you realize is that everything is as if it's just happening perfectly. It's as if your life is just perfect. And now that takeaways from the power of the spoken word. My fourth takeaway now, this one is about the power of the word. And now, as I already mentioned in the other books, from Florence and now I work as a metaphysician. Metaphysics, first of all, is about the power of the word in influencing the circumstances around you. And now, this one is about using your word to make sure that you are creating good circumstances from you, and now not using your word to create circumstances that you don't want. Now, this one is more about you being very aware of your thought, of the words you are speaking, and also of the people around you and the what they are speaking to you. So this one is more about at every moment realizing that the thoughts that you think, what that you think, the people around you will influence you in one way or the other. But in terms of the people around you, once you are aware of the power of the word, what you notice is that even if the people around you are trying to fill in the trying to bring like the negative situations about you, they are trying to pull you away from your intuitive lead. What you realize is that you can use the power of the word to get back in line. So this one is about realizing the power of the word. And now the thing about your word is that it can either justify you or it can condemn you. So the way it justifies you is best when you use it constructively. Now you end up creating good things in your life. On the other hand, the way you use it to condemn you is when you are using negative words, when you are using fearful words, when you are talking about doubt, when you are talking about bad things that are happening around you. When you do that now, you end up in this situation whereby you are detached from your powers. And now when you're detached from your powers, so it's the universe power that I mentioned in the that takeaway. So when you're detached from that now, you end up seeing two things. So you end up seeing good and evil. Now when you are in that situation, you end up attracting what you don't want. So that is the issue with using negative word. Now for my fifth and final takeaway, this one is about a, uh, illustration that Florence used. Now the illustration is about lions and now Daniel now. As you know in the Bible, Daniel was put into a situation whereby was put around lions so that they could eat him. And now what happened is that instead of Daniel wasting his time being fearful or being doubtful or waiting for the lion to eat him, what he did is that he turned to the other side. And now when he turned to the other side, he realized he focused on the universe now and now on God now. And now when you focus on God now, what happens is that God sent his angels, and now when he sent his angels, they closed the lion's mouth. And now instead of the lions eating Daniel, what ended up happening is that they started playing with him and they did not eat him. And now the king was very surprised. It was King Darius and now he was very surprised that this had happened. And now he ended up calling for Daniel and ended up removing him from the lions are now ended up declaring that God is the only God that should be worshipped. And now the thing here is that when Florence talked about the lion, the way she interpreted it is that it is not about lions. So, like lions are symbolizing negative thoughts that are in your mind. So it's not really like we're going to face a lion there. It's more about lion being a symbol of negative thoughts that are in your mind. So these are negative thoughts which are about fear, negative thoughts about doubt, negative thoughts about economy being bad, negative thoughts about the world being bad, negative thoughts about bad things that are happening in the world. So this one is more about when you are having this negative thought, instead of running away from them. So the thing about running away from them, when you run away from your problems or when you run away from something you don't want to face, it end up running after you. But the moment you face it, it loses its power over you. And now this is what this story of Daniel is about. So the way Florence faces the lion is that the moment you face your lion, you realize that it loses its power and it ends up as a kitten, and now it is no longer fierce. Now the reason for this is that the lion takes its fierceness from your fear. So if you are fearful of the lion, it becomes so fierce. And now it ends up roaring, and now these roars are from the tremors of your heart. So the lion takes its fierceness from your fear. But the moment you lose your fear, you end up the lion, you realize that the lion was only fierce because you are fearful. Now, so this is an illustration of fear and faith. And now what you realize is that fear is faith turned upside down. So and now the moment the thing you will notice is fear is that when you are fearful, you attract what you are afraid of. So the point Florence makes is that what is the point of you being fearful if you will end up attracting what you are afraid of? Instead of being fearful, you should focus on faith. And now when you are in faith, you end up getting what you want. So this one is more about shifting from being fearful to being to relying on faith. And now that is my fifth and final takeaway from the power of the spoken word by Florence Scovel-Shinn, which has been compiled by Emmett Fox, who was a student of Florence. Now this compilation was made from the note and memoranda of Florence. So that's all I have for you today, and next week I will be touching on another spiritual book that for me it ended up changing the game for me, and we'll be covering it next week, and that will be all for today. So that's all about Florence, all of the Florence books, and as I've already mentioned, the first book was The Game of Life and How to Play It. The second book was The Secret Door to Success, and I've confused it somewhere. So the final book is The Power of the Spoken Word, and so the second book has come back to me. So the first book was The Game of Life and How to Play It. Second book was Your Word is Your Word. The third book is The Secret Door to Success. And now the fourth book is The Power of the Spoken Word. So and now what we notice in common with all these books is that they all focus on the power of the word. So they are mostly about you being very conscious of the words that you are using, of what you are thinking, and of the words that the people around you are using. Now, so I'll see you next week on the next book, the next spiritual book that I'll be covering. So for now, bye bye. KDM.